You've lived in multiple different countries for
Yeah.
extended periods of time. But you were definitely, a corporate guy, right? Like you
Yes.
did what they needed you to do. So when did you break those chains and kind of go off on your own, start your own company, start Legacy Group, and start
Sure.
doing things your way?
Sure. I would say I always describe PwC as kind of like my PhD in business, right? So I had to do grad school for accounting and finance, but PwC was really like writing a dissertation. I was about 31 when I came down to Colombia for the first time, and my story really was, I'd been PwC 8 or 9 years. That's when you really need to start making a partner case, whether you're going to try to be a partner in a firm or you need to go out and do something else. And, I was a guy that was willing to go anywhere. And really that's what I wanted. I wanted emerging markets. I didn't want to go back to, let's say, New York City or stay in Hong Kong or go to London where everything works, right? You go to New York City, like things work. You go to Hong Kong, things work, right? You're just making a developed world more developed. And a lot of people love it, but for me, I wanted to do something and say, look, I want to go somewhere aggressive. And like, I would be willing to say, okay, you want to make me a partner in a firm? I'll take zero salary. Just give me a cut of what I can do. And if I don't perform, you don't pay me anything. But really, that's not the way corporates work. That's not the way, especially accounting firms. They're a little more conservative than I am. So at the time, I was looking at taking positions in Southeast Asia and in Latin America. So I was talking to partners in both regions. I loved at the time, I was doing all my macro analysis. I loved Vietnam. I thought the Philippines had a lot of potential. And then I was looking at Colombia and Brazil and Mexico. And, none of those guys had dedicated team to run M&A deals for financial services. Everything in those regions was like, for instance, Southeast Asia was run out of Hong Kong. Latin America was run out of New York. Half the guys that work, more than half the guys, probably 90% of the guys that work in financial services in New York for PwC doing deals, they don't speak fluent Spanish. So it's pretty hard to come in and buy a bank in Mexico or Colombia or in Brazil if you speak Portuguese. If you can't speak the local language, it's going to be a pretty tough gig, right? The United States is nothing. It's similar, but it's not the same market. So I came down to Colombia for my brother's wedding. He got married in Cartagena. We came down, had the big family party, and I was like, this is pretty cool. And I went to go check out Medellin. I had a friend of a friend here, and I just saw the real estate market, and it's so developed. Like I was expecting, third world countries, a third world country. And it wasn't a third world country. Colombia, if you come to Medellin, it looks first world, right? And so there's certain parts that are definitely developing world, but certain parts where, for instance, where I'm sitting right now, if you came into this office right here, this is developed world, office infrastructure, real world downtown area. And I couldn't figure it out because I was had some of my friends check out like bank lending rates and whatnot, like arbitragely high, mortgage rates, hardly any loan penetration. Like the amount of people using formal bank accounts was like, at that time, I think it was like only 30%, 40% of people use formal banking.
Wow.
And I was just saying, this doesn't make any sense, right? So I came down and I said, wait a minute, maybe I should just take more risk, right? And so risk isn't something I won't take unnecessary risk. But when I came down, I said, you know what, I think I can do this, right? And really what I was trying to set myself up for with the firm I was working for was to kind of eat what you kill and build something from scratch, right? And really what I'm trying to do is start a company within a firm. And so what I decided and said, look, I can take the ultimate risk for business, I would say, is move to a country that you don't, like at the time I spoke high school level, North Carolina based Spanish, right? Which means I don't speak Spanish, right?
Right.
So I moved to Medellin. I said to myself, you know what, let's take a bet. And even if I lose all my money, what's the worst that's going to happen, right? I'm going to learn Spanish. I'll know another market. And if I ever want to go back to consulting or do M&A again, I'm going to know the market by the time I lose all my money, right? So I started doing my own deals down here in Colombia. So I got back basically for my brother's wedding. I spent the next month kind of exiting PwC, setting up corporates here to run companies out of, and then hit the ground running, right? I went to a language school 4 hours a day, every day. And at the same time, trying to get set up, starting with real estate deals. And then, then you just kind of build from there.